Welcome to the Jefferson City Public Library Teen Summer Reading Program. Today we have our college panel with us, and they're going to talk to us about their experiences in college and share some of their experiences and truths about the transition from high school to college and university. We're going to start on my right with the young lady in the yellow shirt. If you'll give us your name and your college and your year in university.
I'm Virginia McGinnis. I go to Carson Newman, which is just right down the road, and I'm going to be an upcoming sophomore.
I'm Rebecca Gladden. I go to Carson Newman University, and I'm a rising senior.
I'm Nathan Seals. I'm a sophomore, and I go to Walter State with the Tennessee Promise.
My name is Samantha Schaefer. I'm currently at Carson Newman University. I'm a rising senior, and I was at Roane State Community College. I earned my first degree there while I was in high school.
Wonderful. Okay. So, and you guys can order this, answer these questions in any order that suits you. The first question is, what made college the choice for you? Why did you decide to go to college?
I'll go first. So college was something that I always knew that I was going to do. I knew that I wanted to continue with school, not be a lifetime learner, but continue on learning and getting a higher education. I knew early on that I wanted to be in the medical field, and so I knew that would require more school, so I just early on was like, okay, college, that's what I'm going to do, that was what was right, and that's what ended up working out, right?
Mine's kind of similar. I was always told that I was going to go to college, even though it was my choice, and I also wanted to go into the medical field. And you have to go to college to do that. So.
College was a choice because of job opportunities. I wanted to be a nurse, which requires having a higher education level.
Okay.
I didn't want to go to the medical field, but I never thought that. But I still was encouraged by my parents to go to college and to further my education, just because nowadays even associates will help you get the jobs you need. And without that, even sometimes it's really hard and difficult. So I was really pushed and encouraged to move forward and get a good job in the future.
Okay. So I think that kind of answers my next question, which was what was one of the biggest challenges or considerations that you had before you in even making that decision? And it sounds like a lot of you had the encouragement there, and then you had the drive because of the interest in the field that you're going for. Okay. So now we're going to look at your freshman year. What was the toughest part of your freshman year, and how did you overcome it? And you can talk about like the resources you might have used, or
Well, I just finished mine, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. But what I wanted to do was get over-involved. And so I had to be careful about my ambitions and try not to overload myself with too much and still have fun in college. And so a lot of the resources I used was just my friends and my family, and like mentors that I had already kind of collected in college to kind of help me guide me into what organizations I should be a part of and which one maybe I should let go. So I had to kind of really consider what it was important to me and which ones I really wanted to get involved in.
And I just finished my freshman year, and I feel like, I guess you could say in a way, it kind of overcame me. I just didn't realize how much study and time you had to put into college. I thought that I would just kind of be able to like go by without putting in as much effort as I thought. And so I just kind of had to learn how to put more effort in than I knew I could to get through my first year. So.
did that? How did you see those changes taking place?
I would not, I'm a very social person. I like to interact with everything that I can. And so I had to learn to I go to Walter State, so there's not really as many things around campus that I can do like she had a problem with. But I had to not hang out with my friends as much. I couldn't do some of the activities that I would normally do whenever I was in high school.
I graduated high school at an odd time. I graduated in December, so I came up here in the spring. So it was kind of different my freshman year. Most of everybody had already been introduced through orientation groups. So just kind of being thrown into a mix was really different because I had to go out of my way to reach out and transitioning from being at home all the time to being in school and living at school, time management was really hard. I mean, I was in Rowan State before, but it was really different, like coming from a little community college to a four-year university. And so juggling time management in the nursing program with friends and activities on campus that you want to do as a freshman, and meeting new people and hanging out, it was a struggle. So I figured it all out usually by like the last month of my freshman year, so I had it figured out for finals, but that was about it.
So it seems like a lot of you have experience in the time management and finding that balance between having fun, but also realizing that you're there with an objective in mind. Did you find that it was just, was it more of a persistent choice, or was it that, okay, I know that I'm not doing this well, and what is it? You mentioned that you used family and friends to help you figure out what might be the most effective use of your time. Did you guys ever use any college resources or family and friends as well to just kind of help you find that balance, especially with the transition and starting in the middle of the year instead of at the beginning, so a lot of connections have already been made? Was there anything on campus that you guys utilized, or was there a particular approach you used in handling those potentially stressful situations?
Like managing school, I got to where I planned a lot, so I'd plan out what I had to do every day. That way I can make time to do things. And on campus, like I didn't have time to like go hang out with people or like go run around or do whatever. But I made time. Honestly, the time that I spent hanging out with people was eating in the cafeteria. So if my friends want to hang out, I'd be like, hey, meet me for lunch or meet me for dinner, and I'd eat for like an hour. I'd devote myself an hour for lunch, an hour for dinner, and that's when I'd hang out with my friends most of the time. The rest of the time, I was usually studying in my room, or I'd tell them, hey, come in and hang out with me. We'll listen to music while I study or do my homework or something, because I was like, I have these things I have to get done, and I have to do well in these. So.
At Kirsten Newman, we have the Student Success Center in the library, and so they are not utilized as often as they should be, but they are very helpful in getting you connected on campus, or if you think you're over-connected, on helping you learn to say no. They're there if you don't know what major you want. You can go to them and they'll help you find out, or if you're just confused, like, why are you even at college? They're very good about being there and just listening to whatever you need or helping you in those kinds of ways. So I know that we probably don't utilize them as much as we should, but when I have, and I know when others have, they've been a great help in that way.
They also are really good at helping. They do little tutor sessions, which is more like a group of us will come together with one person that's an expert in it, so to speak, and they help us with our homework or help us with the test that's coming up. So I actually utilized that a lot my freshman year when I was in psychology, which was not my forte, and so they helped me a lot in studying and understanding that kind of aspect of college too, like how do I best study for certain subjects, and figuring that kind of out too.
Okay. And what was the name of that resource again?
It's the Student Success Center.
Okay. So to date, what have you all loved the most about your college experience?
My independence. Because I feel like now I'm more of my own person than I was before, because I can make my own choices. And I still keep in contact with my parents since I still live there. But I do feel a lot more independent. Like I'm not as sheltered and if you understand.
Seeing how much you can do, starting out in a class that is going to be really hard and really rough and you're struggling, but by the end of it, you pass the class, you get the grade you want, or you miss it by half a point, or whatnot, but you still pass, and you can still look back on that and be like, I didn't think I was going to be able to do that. That was a big thing.
I think academically, just doing what you love. You're stuck in high school sometimes where you're just like, I gotta go to this class, I gotta go to this class. And yes, you have the general education courses that everyone has to take. But once you get through that, you just kind of start developing what classes do I love and what classes do I want to be a part of and make my future. And so I feel like that free choice just opens up a lot of like opinions and about life and about what you love.
And it's definitely that independence and that choice. Like you get to choose what you're doing, what time you want to take a class, what class you're taking. So it's not only just independence in like, oh, I get to be free. It's I'm actually starting my adult life. And I'm not fully being an adult yet, but I'm learning how to better manage my time and better manage just my life in general so that when I'm out of college and have a real job, I'm not going to hopefully fail right away. I've learned some things to kind of guide me through the way.
So, what is it? If my memory is correct, 3 of you are from Carson Newman, and 1 of you is from Walter State. So, I know with my involvement with the Carson Newman students that you have a Bonner Center, and that your student body is heavily encouraged to engage and volunteer within the community. And I know that Walter State is an active member of the TN Promise. And we have students from Walter State come over and volunteer with us. So this next question is about volunteering. First off, why do you suppose that volunteering is being so highly encouraged, and I would say rewarded, through the education systems? And what has been your experience in your volunteering opportunities?
So I'm a Bonner Scholar at Carson Newman, which is a national foundation where they give you a scholarship to go to school and you do community service at local nonprofits or organizations in your community. You normally do about 140 hours a semester, and that totals up to your scholarship. And then we are in charge on campus of a lot of the other service opportunities that happen. And for me, I grew up doing community service. Living here, I started Habitat for Humanity and the Boys and Girls Club. That was just something for me that helped me to not focus so much on myself, but focus on the people that are here. And it also opened my eyes to see that I was not raised how many other people were raised. And so I think that's a very big thing going into college, is that when we're at, especially Carson Newman, it's a small campus. You kind of get trapped into the small campus feeling. You don't really realize that there's a world out there. And so Carson Newman is very heavily on getting out and volunteering and just seeing what life is like and seeing what other people go through. And then going back and thinking on that and verbalizing like, hey, how did this affect me? And how does this affect others? And what else can I do? Because I think a lot of the time we ignore the problems around us because it's like, oh, college, this is what I'm doing. But other people around us aren't faced with that same situation. And so Carson Newman, the Bonner program, other volunteer organizations, they just want you to see that there are other things going on and just kind of open your eyes instead of just living in your own little world.
To kind of go with that, I think they just want you to go beyond the classroom. I think people are starting to realize now that life isn't a whiteboard with students sitting in front of it learning a lesson. It's hands-on. It's going out in the community and helping the community and loving the community. It's going beyond the classroom.
I haven't done a whole lot of volunteer work up here at Carson Newman. I've done some at home and in high school, so I can't really put a whole lot of 2 cents worth in like during my college experience. But I do agree with what they had to say. It gives you a different perspective on life and looking at other people's situations, and then looking at your own. It gives you like an appreciation for things.
And it's kind of because since they're giving like this to us, like these scholarships and something, we're giving something back to the community.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're going to rewind, and we're going to take you all back to the summer before you started college or university. Do you remember what you did? Do you remember some of the thoughts that you had about the excitedness, the nervousness, and if you were wanting to share those experiences with someone who's now in that situation, what would you share?
The summer before I came to Carson Newman, I found out in that spring that, this is where I wanted to be, and I had applied and been accepted. And Carson Newman was financially a little bit of a struggle for my family. And so since I had been taking a couple classes at Roan State, I chose that summer to take a full summer load of general education classes. And so that summer I didn't work. I took 15 hours in the summer, and that was a struggle, because I felt like I didn't have a life, but at the same time I was really motivated to come here, and this is where, I had my heart set on it. And so for kids that are in the summer, you might be working and saving up money towards college, or, trying to do things like that. So, you just gotta keep your eye on the prize, because, it's not like you're gonna be in school forever, there is an end to it. And so I knew that, and I was like, if I get these classes done here, I don't have to do them there, and eventually I'll get there. So,
That is remarkable, because what is it? Summer classes or summer terms are shorter,
they are.
and you're still required to cover the same amount in a shorter time period. And 15 hours is it still a full load? A 15 hour is a full load.
12 is the full, so 15 will be over.
Kudos to you.
And then if you want to hear a story on the other side of the spectrum, I was home 1 month of the summer before I went there. I was not really nervous because I felt like I was going to a baby college. And so I just felt, and I had been taking classes there when I was a senior.
Okay.
And so I already knew what it was going to be like. I wasn't really worried about it. I was just kind of trying to do whatever I wanted to do.
My summer before college, I spent working the entire summer at the Boys and Girls Club, which was great. But so that was my goal, was to work the summer before, because I had traveled and done vacation, so I was just ready to kind of have a real job and just save up money. And so what I did was I worked full-time there and saved up enough money that I would not have to work during the school year, ever. And so I, thankfully, successfully, have not had to work a job during the school year. I've focused more on classes, which I always have over a full load, and then my honor site, so that I can put more time to that instead of having to worry about money. So for me, I worked a lot, saved up a lot, and then that's what I've kind of lived off of the past few years.
So I guess my summer, which was only last year, my life was packed up in boxes. I was ready to go. My mom was like, "You just need to calm down and chill." I was like, "No, I'm ready to go." So that was me. I was the eager beaver, and I was doing everything that I could to get me out the door. But I guess what their kind of typical summer was my January, because I started doing a job and saving up and preparing myself for college and really trying to make sure that things were in order for me to go to college. By summer though, I was just kind of ready to get out of there, and my life was packed in boxes.
Gotcha. All right. So, one of you, this time around, money has come up a few times. Can you talk to us a little bit about how your management of money has changed, or maybe it started, or what your experience along those lines has been?
It's been difficult, I guess, for me, because I've always been the saver of my family, and I always try to save my money and everything, which I did really well up until I came to college, just because my parents would help me out every now and then, and I would save up just for clothes and things I wanted. But now it's become things I need. I'll need gas, I need groceries, and I need different things. Especially this summer, I'm living in an apartment rather than a dorm, and the cafe isn't open some days, and so it's more difficult because I need to cook for myself, and so I need groceries to do that, and I need them on a weekly basis. I need gas to go places. I need money to do the fun things still. So it's kind of become harder to save because there's more that I need rather than what I want. And so that's just kind of been a weird transition for me to kind of save for the things I want instead of giving it out to what I need.
I would say my story is, again, a little bit different. Whenever I was really young, my parents had me start paying for everything that I had and wanted and owned. And so I learned, and whenever I was like a junior in high school, I was extremely poor. Like I would live off of like $17 in a month. Like it was just very, very little. And so I learned how to money manage whenever I was younger. And so now it's not quite as difficult, but I'm also going to a college that's free for me. And then whenever it comes, I'll be transferring to Lee as a junior, Lee University. And my parents I'll be blessed enough to have my parents pay for that. And so I'll pay for like some things, I'll do what I can, but my parents will be covering most of the load.
You mentioned that you are going to college free. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's free, it's Tennessee Promise. You have to meet some very basic requirements, and then they pretty much give you college free. You get as many scholarships as you can, and then Tennessee Promise comes in the end and then covers the rest of the cost. So that's how it works for me.
Planning ahead, like in high school, I planned ahead just because I already knew that Carson was going to be a little bit harder on me and my family. My parents have helped me out through certain things. I tried to make it easier on them by, instead of coming here and doing my full 4 years here, I tried to do as many classes as I could at my community college because I could live at home. I could, I didn't have to buy my own groceries. I could eat with my family, and classes are a little bit cheaper at community colleges. And so I came here for my necessary nursing courses. And it's a lot harder to budget in college, especially like with my major, it's extremely hard to like work or even have like a part-time job because you're studying and the nursing tests and whatnot. And so you literally have what was in your savings account when you started at the beginning of the year. And I've been in classes, I'm in summer classes, they end this Friday. And so I've been in class since August of last year, so I haven't worked in almost a full year. I'm gonna go home and work for a month and then come back to school. And so I've, planning and making what I had last all year, it's been a little bit harder. And like right now I'm in the summer apartments, and the cafeteria isn't open all the time. So I have to plan for groceries and things I need to live off of, and gas and whatnot. It's harder. It's much easier to be like, oh, I really don't feel like cooking. I'd rather go out and spend, $5, $10 that you really don't have, or 2 in the morning you're studying and you're like, what? Like, I want chicken nuggets and pizza rolls. I'm gonna go to Walmart, just blow $2 or $3, and then, you go to Walmart and you've spent a good $15 or $20 you totally didn't have, or you get home and you're like, oh, I should have saved that. Like, I need gas and I wasn't thinking about it, So it's a little bit harder, It's like, those are my struggles, but anyway, so you have to plan ahead for sure and budget. So
That's so true. I started off 1 week and I was like, oh, I'm great, I have enough money, because I have a savings account that I haven't really touched. But then I have my checking, and that's just kind of like what I live off of. And I looked at my checking account and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do this week? And it turned out that I knew I needed groceries, so I got groceries, and then I got gas, and then I had to buy a textbook. And I was just like, oh no, I have enough money. And then I didn't realize that I'd gotten them all the same day. And then I was just like, oh, nope. Okay, so, a few weeks buying nothing, it's fine. Which it is okay to do that. Like, I realized I've done that in the past, but it was making a conscious effort to be like, okay, make this gas last and be like, it's gonna be fine. If you're gonna go with a friend, ask them to drive. Like, it's not a bad thing. So that was something that I really never had to think of, but then I was like, oh, yep, now I understand why my friends have always, asked me to drive or do things like that, because while I was okay, they may not have been. So that was for me, like, making sure, like, I knew that I had a savings account and I was okay, but then realizing, oh, now I understand what my friends have gone through or how they felt. It kind of all clicked.
So I do want to add one thing to the financial aspect too. That I forgot to mention earlier. I actually did work study this past year, which was a lifesaver for me and my family, because what it allowed was school hours. I could work, and that meant like if I had a class from 11 to 12 after class, I could just go simply to the office, punch in a few hours, and then leave whenever I needed to. Or if I wasn't feeling well that day, they would understand. So it was a very good system, and like with work study, it can allow you to put that paycheck towards your college, towards paying for college. which I didn't necessarily need because I have a lot of scholarships. So it went to the other aspect of it, which I was talking about before, which is groceries and gas and that kind of side of college. So I say it paid for the other side. So if you have the opportunity to do a work study, I would highly suggest it because it's very good hours for students and it's made for students and it can pay for college or can pay for the other side of college. And so I feel like that helped me tremendously too.
Okay.
I did work study also, and I really saved more of that money, and then like whatever I work on my farm, and my parents pay me for that, and so I would try to use that, and I would try to leave my work study alone, but if I ever needed it, I could go back to it because it would be extra cash.
A few of you, or I think all of you, have now mentioned scholarships. When you were in high school, when did you begin looking at scholarships for university? And if you can remember, what resources or if you know any scholarships by name or anything that you found particularly helpful during that time, if you talk about that with us.
So I was super annoying to the counseling department because I had made good grades and I had volunteered, so I knew I had everything to apply for a scholarship. I just had to put it all on paper. And so they kind of give you this list, and it's on the high school's website, but they are never like, hey, go do this. Like they mention it, and they're like, hey, go apply for scholarships, but they don't really tell you what to do. So I was annoying, and I just like sat in their office, and I was like, hey, give me scholarships. And they had a filing cabinet, and one day I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go through the filing cabinet. And I just went through all of their stuff and found all of the scholarships that would apply to me or that I could apply for. And so that was, I knew about the Bonner program already, but that's a scholarship. And then I went directly to Carson Newman. I was like, hey, what scholarships do you offer? Because sometimes they have small, like endowed funds that they don't necessarily advertise. But if you ask, they're like, oh yeah, apply for this one. And I just have to fill out a little piece of paper with my name and address. And I get $1,400 a year. And I didn't do anything for it. So it's mostly just like asking. And it's being persistent when you're asking. Because if you're just like, hey, are there any scholarships? The answer is yes, but also they're not just gonna fall in your lap. And that was something, I started looking sophomore year because I was annoying and just wanted to look. But you have to be persistent because it doesn't just happen. And I think for a little while I was like, oh, it's just gonna happen. It's like, you have to look.
Yeah, and I waited for it to just happen, and it didn't. And so I know of 2 scholarships, the Hope and Tennessee Promise, and that is all that I know of. But whenever I go to Lee, because I was going to Walter State, and again, I was like, this is free, I don't really have to think about them. But whenever I go to Lee University, I know like more of what I'm gonna look for. You just kind of do, like Becca said, you just have to ask. Like they had some, I mean, Lee has it planned out very easily. They have a sheet of paper for the big scholarships, and then you go for whatever your major is, and then they have some that apply to that. Like for me, I would look for like science or physical science and stuff like that, and then I would just look for those that I could apply for.
I started looking in my junior year of high school, but I got more serious with it by my senior year because it really dawned on me I was going to college. I got disciplined ones like the Hope, and then when I came here to Carson Newman, based off of like my ACT scores and my GPA and things like that, they had certain scholarships and grants that they could offer. And so I got some of those which helped me out. And then I've used friends as resources because sometimes one person will know about a scholarship, you know, and sometimes people are reluctant, like they feel like you're going to take away their scholarship or something, you know, or they won't tell you because it's like a competition, like write an essay, you know. So people are very, you know, and if I found a scholarship that I really liked, I'd make sure like not to tell anybody, you know, because I was like, oh, there's more competition. Like, you know, my best friend may be a really good writer. I'm not telling her, you know, like it's really silly, honestly. But you know, you get, you know, competitive for things like that. One of my friends actually told me about one, you know, and it wasn't a competition. It was just like a thing, you know, you apply for, and they were very, you know, willing to share that information with me. And so it was a scholarship. I can't think of the name of it, but that was a scholarship that I got. And so using friends, sometimes you have to apply for it, you know, or if you have older friends that have been in college, you know, they're very willing to be like, oh, this is the website I use, you know, and they hooked me up with all these, you know, you can just search it. there are a lot of search engines online for scholarships, you know, you can find, and there's a lot of them are just based off of, that you have to qualify for certain things, like, you know, your GPA, your hours, your status in college, you know, are you taking part-time hours or full-time, or, things like that. So, and then there are other ones where, you know, you write essays or you do things, and, even little ones help, you know, if you find a little one that's like $500, you know, $500 especially goes a long way. Like, you can live off of $500, you know, for 2 or 3 months in college. So little things help, you know.
I probably started looking about my sophomore year too. I was also annoying to the guidance counselors. I was always trying to ask and stuff. But what they always would tell me is to go. Our school had like this kind of search engine kind of thing for like scholarships and for colleges and different things like that. That kind of helped you filter it out through a school-sponsored website. I can't even remember what the website was called. So they would always point me to that, and it was just kind of hard looking through that a lot of times because like I wasn't sure what my major was going to be. I thought it might be in education, but I was always afraid like, oh, if I apply for this and I don't go towards that, will I still get it? So it was always just kind of hard for me to find those scholarships. I kept looking and kept looking. And I actually really never got any, I guess, outside scholarships. I just kind of gave up. I actually went to Carson Newman and I talked to them instead. And they actually gave me a lot of scholarships and talked to me about it and kind of like helped me figure that out through them. So I have like a lot of grants and scholarships through my actual college. And so that's kind of like a different route. The only like outside scholarship I ever had kind of fell into my lap, which kind of goes against what they just said. But it was for my church. It was through our youth ministry. They give a certain amount of scholarship to an upcoming freshman just for their freshman year. They do it every year. And there was only like 3 of us that actually put a name on our paper and gave it to our youth minister. And so he was like, well, I'll just split the money up and give 3 of y'all and like give y'all at least some money. So it kind of just, yeah, I had to put my name on something, but it pretty much fell in my lap. So other than that, I would encourage not giving up and trying to find more scholarships or go the different route and try to see what your actual college is offering. So.
Right. Let's see. What college resource do you find that you use the most? So, computer lab, library, gym, study rooms, cafeteria, any particular like clubs or anything?
Computer lab and study rooms, especially study rooms and whiteboards were a big help, like to me and my study groups. We'd all meet after class or the night before tests, and you know, just down and write literally anything we could possibly, you know, the important things were all on the whiteboard, and having like a room that you could close yourself off in, you know, where you didn't have to sit and listen to other people talking outside or all that promotion. And having that on campus was really nice.
I would say the only one I really used was tutoring, because sometimes even if I slightly understand something in college, you have to completely understand it. And so it would just kind of sometimes I'd use it if I didn't understand it at all. Sometimes I'd just kind of like smooth it out to like make sure I understand it clearly.
So I use the student success tutoring session a lot for different subjects. Even if it was just like once for that class, it still helped to kind of go and have the expert kind of reword it for me sometimes, or like trying to help me understand it. But another thing that I think really helped with the overall college experience was Equal Production Company, which is an organization on our campus that just, the slogan is "We make fun happen," and that's literally what we do. We do movie on the lawns and stuff like that, which helped me kind of get the well-rounded experience and introduce me into college in a different kind of light. And I think that helped me a lot too, because I met a lot of friends. I met a lot of people like through connection people. I have a really good mentor that she's the head of the organization. I could just know I could go to her about anything. I actually did a work study with her the second semester too, because she was like, hey, why don't you come work for me instead of the other office I was in. So we've grown really close to that, so that kind of helped too.
I guess I've used the Faulkner Center the most, being a scholar with that. We have a house on campus that is just kind of our home base. It's It's all of our offices, and it's also just a place where only we can go. So it's kind of nice because definitely, like if you're in the dorm or you're in the CAF and there's just everyone else, it's a nice place to just be able to go back to and know that these people in this house, they have the same scholarship, so they're doing the same work that you are. They probably have slightly the same background, or even a different background in a way to have a new conversation. But it's definitely a place where it's like, okay, I need to get away from so-and-so. I know that they're not a runner, I can go there. I know that our director, he's gonna be there to talk me through whatever I need to talk about, or give us self-care, or go on a walk, or just some great life advice. So that was definitely something that I used a lot.
I also use the clinic a lot. I got sick.
The nurse
That is
is
a really good resource.
relaxation room that we have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great resources.
You have a relaxation
We
room.
do.
We have two.
Two, yeah, we have two now. Massage chairs and sand that you can just candy.
Hey,
really nice.
just call me and I'll get you
Yeah.
set up.
Okay, well, listen, you guys, thank you so much. Before we let you go, is there anything that you'd like to talk about that we haven't covered?
I think one thing I have is get started early. Just start looking for colleges, start thinking about what your major is. But don't get it to where it's like bogs you down. Don't be like, oh, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, that's not the point. The point is, what do you think you would want to do, and start on that path to see what you need to be doing. What do you need to be doing in preparation of that? Because I, on the one hand, am an eager beaver, and I want to like learn all I can fast. But my baby sister, who's about to come to college too, she's kind of more relaxed in that sense, and so I think she's not as prepared. She doesn't even have boxes in her room yet. So, for me, that's just kind of like, kind of hard to see, but she just kind of was on the other side of that, and I wish I could have encouraged her more to start a little bit earlier, find where she wants to go, find her major, which she did eventually. It just kind of took a little bit longer, which is okay, but I feel like sometimes you need to start the process a little early. So.
I think the biggest thing that we've started to do is say that college is for everyone. So I think in high school and even in college, like just taking that moment to look and be like, okay, is college really what I want to do? And I also think like, is it what I want to do? Say like, yes, my parents say this, or my friends are doing this. But if you go to college and it's not what you want, you won't do well and you'll be miserable. And just because you don't go to college doesn't mean that your life is horrible, or that you're not worthy, or that you're going to have a bad future. And so I think it's just realizing, hey, is this what I want? And if it is, then start looking and ask for help. And then if it's not, there are so many other options like tech schools, or even working right away, because that's what best suits some people. So I think it's definitely looking at like what you want and not what everyone else around you is doing or what they want.
The few things that I have to say is that do dual enrolling or AP classes or something, because it really gets you like, especially if you're kind of on the edge, it'll give you a taste of what college is like, and it'll prepare you for it. And then if you go to college, you'll be ahead of the game. So I would say just take, like, don't overload yourself, but take as many like classes as you, or overload yourself. But just take the classes, because it will make it a lot easier later. The other thing is, don't be afraid of using the Tennessee Promise, just because you might still have to live at home, you might have to do that. I know I don't mean to make it sound like I've talked down about Walter State, because it's great, it's been great for me. I've learned a lot, I've matured a lot, I made a lot of friends there. I've met a lot of people, tutors that have just really helped me out. And don't think that just because it's a community college that it's just going to be really easy. Like it is difficult, but it really does help prepare you, and you save a lot of money.
I agree completely with the APA classes and the dual enrollment. That helped me a lot transitioning from just regular like high school to getting ready for college and how classes were going to be. And I also, it's kind of stressful in high school. Like, we're talking about like plan ahead, go ahead and start thinking about things, and it's it's really stressful to think that in high school, you need to figure out what you're going to be or what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And you hear a lot of people a lot of times are like, oh, don't worry about that, you have plenty of time. But like in high school, you stress yourself out. You're like, oh, these scholarships only apply to this major, so I need to hurry up and figure out what I'm going to do. And then, if I'm going to go to college or not, or if I am going to go to college, like this college has a better program for this degree, like nursing, this college is better than this college, or this college is closer. And like, it's really stressful to make that decision because you feel like, the rest of your life is gonna, fall on this one little decision you make in high school, and like, you've worked like a small job, like, you've worked in fast food, or you've worked in like a grocery store, or, like a clothing store, I don't know. But, you've worked little jobs, and you don't really know, like, I want to be a nurse. I've never had any experience whatsoever in a nursing type of job or volunteer work or any of that. And so I had a lot of adult friends, and so I went and talked to them about their careers and like what they did and what they liked about it, what they didn't like, and tried to get like an adult perspective on other things and putting myself in that situation. And that helped me a lot. So like, if you have other resources to reach out and kind of get a perspective on those things, like my mom was a nurse. A lot of people in my family were nurses, so I talked to them about, what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it. In my church, I talked to a lot of my adult friends who were not nurses, and about their jobs and what they did and what they liked about it. And some of them didn't have to go to college to do what they do. Now they work at life insurance agencies, and they love it because it's a small office job. They're housewives, and that's what they want to do. And so like, get a different perspective on things because that's the best way to do it, I guess, in high school. Because you're just trying to figure it all out. Don't stress yourself out. That's the biggest thing. Just sit back and breathe because it'll all work out. But
One thing I think I want to add to both of theirs about the college night for everyone in Tennessee Promise. I think a good way. I'll start off with this. My best friend and my roommate is on Tennessee Promise, but she ended up coming to a 4-year and only doing the 2-year associate's program. So she still had to pay, I guess, a good amount for staying on a college campus and stuff. But it kind of gave her the best of both worlds because she knew college maybe isn't for her, but she wanted to get that associate's degree. And so she went ahead and did the middle ground. And she came to a 4-year college, but did the 2-year associates. And she'll actually graduate a semester early. And so she was only in school for a year and a half, and she stayed at a 4-year college and still had some of the good college experience without having to do it all. And so, I'm really proud of her for even just going that far, and I love her for that. So I wanted to say that can encourage you too. To maybe even try a 4-year college with a 2-year program and just see if that would be a better middle ground. Because I know college is not for everyone, but sometimes that associates helps.
You guys have been incredible. I really appreciate you coming to answer the questions today and for giving back to your community. And I thank you.